Egypt and India hold first strategic dialogue in New Delhi to boost cooperation and strengthen bilateral ties. World Health Organization's Eastern Mediterranean Committee wraps up in Cairo after 3 days of health talks. And Egypt's election authority releases preliminary lists of parliamentary candidates. Egypt and India held the first round of the strategic dialogue in New Delhi on Thursday, co-chaired by Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati and Indian External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar. According to Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ambassador Tamim Khalaf, the meeting reflected the rapid progress in bilateral ties and both nations' commitment to advancing their strategic partnership launched during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 2023 visit to Cairo. Talks focused on enhancing cooperation in trade, investment, technology, innovation and defense, as well as strengthening counter-terrorism and intelligence sharing. Abdulati also proposed holding the 8th session of the Egypt-India Joint Committee in Cairo in the first half of 2026. Both sides marked 70 years of the Egypt-India Friendship Treaty and agreed to continue close coordination on regional and global issues of mutual concern. During the talks, Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati briefed his Indian counterpart on Egypt's ongoing efforts to stabilize Gaza, highlighting Cairo's role in brokering the ceasefire and hosting the historic Sharm el-Sheikh summit. He reaffirmed Egypt's commitment to ensuring full implementation of the ceasefire plan, expediting humanitarian access and launching early recovery and reconstruction in the Gaza Strip. Abdulati stressed the need for a political horizon enabling the Palestinian people to exercise the right to self-determination and establish an independent state on the 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. India's foreign minister commended Egypt's leadership in promoting peace and regional stability, reaffirming New Delhi's support for a two-state solution and welcoming the outcomes of the Sharm el-Sheikh summit. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati held phone talks with India's Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal to discuss expanding bilateral trade and increasing Indian investments in Egypt. During the call, Abdulati expressed Egypt's aim to raise trade volume with India from $5 to $12 billion, emphasizing support for Indian companies operating in Egypt. He highlighted the government's efforts to enhance transparency, competitiveness, and a business-friendly investment climate, inviting India to establish a joint business council and chamber of commerce. The two ministers also discussed industrial cooperation, green hydrogen projects, and India's plan to explore investment opportunities in the Suez Canal Economic Zone during Goyal's upcoming visit early next year. The 72nd session of the World Health Organization's Regional Committee for the Eastern Mediterranean concluded in Cairo today, following 3 days of high-level discussions under the theme of Together for a Healthier Future. The WHO said the committee, comprising health ministers and senior delegates from 22 member states, reviewed key public health challenges and adopted 5 resolutions addressing critical health priorities, including vaccination access, health system recovery in conflict zones, palliative care and biosafety. Regional Director Dr. Hanan Balkhi called for stronger political commitment and local financing, warning that the region bears 1/3 of global health emergencies. She urged member states to turn crises into opportunities for building resilient, people-centered health systems. On the sidelines of the WHO meetings, Egypt's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Health, Dr. Khaled Abdel Ghaffar, launched the Cairo Call initiative, reaffirming Egypt's leadership in regional health cooperation. The minister emphasized President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's prioritization of healthcare, particularly breast cancer prevention, as part of Egypt's vision for inclusive, resilient health system. Dr. Abdel Ghaffar said the initiative embodies equity, innovation and cooperation, turning the Cairo Call into a regional roadmap for patient-centered care and stronger cancer prevention efforts across the Eastern Mediterranean. Japan's ambassador to Egypt has congratulated Cairo's leadership on the first phase of the Gaza ceasefire plan and highlighted Japan's long-standing partnership in establishing the Grand Egyptian Museum. At a reception marking the opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum, Ambassador Aka Fuyumo praised the agreement reached in the Sharm el-Sheikh as a major step towards ending the Gaza conflict, calling it a highly significant development. He said the museum represents over 2 decades of Egyptian-Japanese cooperation since former Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi visits to Cairo in 2003. The ambassador noted that Japan's involvement covered not only construction but also artifact preservation, including Tutankhamun's treasures and Khufu's second solar boat. Fumo added that Japan will continue supporting the museum's operations and a knowledge exchange, describing the project as a cultural bridge connecting Egypt, Japan, and the whole world. Egypt's Ministry of Transport has outlined the latest progress in developing the Ain Soukhna port, a key component of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's plan to position Egypt as a regional hub for trade and logistics. The ministry said that the project is part of a comprehensive plan to transform Ain Soukhna into the largest port on the Red Sea, serving as a cornerstone of the Soukhna Dakhila logistic corridor linking the Red Sea and the Mediterranean. The development includes 5 new basins, 18 kilometers of berths at an 18-meter depth, 9.2 million square meters of cargo yachts, and 5.2 square kilometers of logistic zones, along with new internal roads and a 30-kilometer railway connection to the high-speed train. The Transport Ministry added that Egypt is working with leading global partners in port operations to expand transit trade, enhance capacity, and strengthen the country's position as a key player in regional maritime logistics. Egypt's National Election Authority has released the preliminary list of approved candidates for the upcoming parliamentary election, with 2,645 running individually and 1 nationalist list competing across 4 sectors. Election Authority Director Councillor Ahmed Bindari said the electoral timeline is proceeding as planned, with appeals lasting 3 days before the final list is announced on October 23rd, marking the start of campaigning in 14 governorates. He confirmed that campaign regulations mirror those of the Senate elections, including spending limits set by law. The authority, led by Councillor Hazem Badawi, has formed special committees to monitor campaigns' conduct, media coverage, and spending, with financial transparency ensured through mandatory bank accounts opened for each candidate. Bindari stressed that all transactions are monitored by the authority to guarantee fair competition and compliance with electoral laws. Egypt and China have reaffirmed their commitment to expanding cooperation in science, technology and innovation as part of efforts to localize advanced industries and support Egypt's Vision 2030 for sustainable development. The announcement came during a meeting at the Electronic Research Institute in Cairo. Discussions focused on joint research, technology transfer and developing applied projects that turn scientific results into industrial products. The Chinese delegation praised Egypt's advanced research infrastructure and human capital, describing the institute as a key regional hub for innovation in electronics, artificial intelligence and information technology. Both sides agreed to expand future collaboration under the Belt and Road Initiative, emphasizing joint projects, capacity building and the exchange of expertise to boost knowledge-based economies in both nations. Egypt's Health Minister Dr. Khaled Abdel Ghaffar met with a delegation from the Executive Council of the Arab Hospitals Union to discuss expanding cooperation and advancing the healthcare sector. During the meeting at the ministry's headquarters in the new administrative capital, both sides discussed integrating artificial intelligence into hospital systems to improve efficiency and accelerate diagnostics and treatment. The talks also covered plans to train medical staff on AI applications, healthcare sustainability and crisis management. The delegation invited Dr. Abdel Ghaffar to attend the Arab Hospitals Union's Mid-Health Riyadh Forum in January 2026, where Egypt will showcase its achievements in universal health coverage. Union CEO Dr. Alice Yamin praised Egypt's public health initiatives and ongoing reforms that have strengthened region's healthcare model. Egypt National Council for Persons with Disabilities joined the Differently AB-led fund in a high-level roundtable on strengthening institutional capacity to better serve people with special needs. The meeting, opened by Social Solidarity Minister Dr. Maya Morsi, brought together government officials, civil society representatives and experts to identify service gaps and set implementation priorities. Council head Dr. Iman Karim highlighted the importance of coordination between the Council and the Fund, noting that both bodies are developing Egypt's National Disability Strategy 2025-2030. The Fund's Executive Director outlined a new organizational structure and work plan focusing on economic, health, educational and training support for persons with disabilities. The roundtable also reviewed successful models of cooperation aimed at improving accessibility, protection and social inclusion nationwide. Egypt's Haya Karima Foundation marked World Food Day by reaffirming that access to healthy food is a basic human right, while also dispatching its 12th aid convoy to Gaza as part of ongoing humanitarian efforts. The foundation said its programs continue to support vulnerable families across Egypt's rural villages, stressing that a dignified life begins with a decent meal. Initiatives such as Matbakh al-Khair and Saha wa Baraka provide regular food supplies and affordable meat outlets to families in need. Vice Chairperson Buthaina Mustafa confirmed that the new aid convoy launched under the National Alliance for Civil Development Work includes 30 trucks loaded with food, medicine, blankets and clothing for Palestinians in Gaza. She said the foundation remains committed to standing with the people of Gaza until normal life is restored. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin. But before we wrap up, here is a recap of the headlines of this hour. Egypt and India hold first strategic dialogue in New Delhi to boost cooperation and strengthen bilateral ties. World Health Organization's ESA Mediterranean Committee wraps up in Cairo after 3 days of health talks. And Egypt's election authority releases preliminary list of parliamentary candidates. For more stories and live updates, follow Qnews on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok at Qnews EGY. From all of us here, many thanks for watching and stay tuned for more updates on Qnews.